Welcome to Charting the Day, where I show you how I make money trading stock options. Today's video is going to be on my TradingView settings and everything I use to trade during the day. First, in the top right corner, my currency is in USD because I am in the US. But depending on where you're trading from, this will be very important. If you're using international brokers, I'm assuming that's where a lot of you guys would be changing it here, but majority of people will be on the US time, will be on the US currency. The next thing that's very important is down in the bottom right corner where we see a little gear that looks like a gear for settings. We want to make sure that our settings are on regular and the plus button. As far as the session, we want to make sure it's on extended trading hours. That is how we're able to see the different hours, and it demarks it by the color. So if I zoom in a bit here, we can see dark gray, light gray, white, dark gray, light gray, white. And that all is showing based on the extended trading hours. If I go to the same button and I turn it off, it'll show regular trading hours, which shows a gap between the start of the market. Now, it depends on what you're using it for, but as far as me and my trading, I love using the ETH, which is the extended trading hours. Next, we're going to go over to our general settings, which are the three buttons down here at the bottom, and we're going to click on chart settings. Here, this is what my symbols are on. You can screenshot this or just pause the video. And I make sure that my time zone is in UTC 5 because that is New York session for Eastern Standard Time. Here's my status line. Screenshot here to look at everything here. Here's my scales and lines. And then this is also where I changed the hour from military time to regular 12-hour time frame. Next is the canvas, which is basically the background. At one point, I had a ombre background, but I just prefer the white. It's fun in the beginning to have different colors, but it's nice to just have it decent. Then here, I really should take these off because I don't like those. It's the buy sell buttons in the top left corner. You can see it. I don't really use them. I don't really like them. So if you trade futures, that's good for you. But those buttons would be good for you. But I don't trade on futures, and also it's not necessary for me because I trade off my phone. Even if I do a futures trade, I normally do it on Webull off my phone. And here's what I have for events. So I want to turn my earnings on as well. And this is what it looks like. All right. Next, we're going to look at our drawings. So here are all my settings for my drawings. You can see everything I have favorited, which is the same things that are here up in this box up at the top. Okay, so I have the rectangle, which helps me to draw my supply and demand zones, horizontal lines, which help with my key levels. The second video on my channel shows you how I draw my key levels every Monday morning. The comment box is great for just having things to type out. Like this is like this here is a box, and I normally just put my channel name there or use it when I'm teaching something. Trend lines is like this this here where you can just draw one line and continue to extend it. I love this for intraday trading. Have the circle, the circle, which is how I show touches. It just shows you, and I love that it's so easy to size. And you can also move it using the center, and then you extend it using the outside one. The arrow marker, which is going to have you draw an arrow up or arrow down. I like having this here for futures. And then I have the brush tool, which I use all the time. I keep clicking on this. I have the brush tool, which I use all the time during my videos. I normally keep it on red horizontal tool, which I also use for futures to show my levels, and then my cross lines, which I recently added just because this helps me with some accuracy. But even when I don't have that, we have these crosshairs anyways that naturally pop up if you hold down the screen in one area. The one thing I don't like is if you trade on your iPad and you press this trying to get the eraser here, the eraser only pops up. It can't save as a favorite. So basically, anywhere that anywhere at the top, all these things are favorites. On an iPad, it won't put the eraser up there. I don't know why, but if I trade on my computer, it will allow me to draw that, but it'll allow it to go up there, but if I'm trading with my iPad, it will not put the eraser tool up there. Don't know why, but that's just that. Next is the FX tool here, which is indicators. I use the route key buy sell bars, which is the second one. These are all the other ones that I have used in the past that I just strategize with, but the main one I use is buy sell volume bars. I love these. They're actually, yeah, so let me just click it. It pops up. It put two. Let me just put one, and then this is what it looks like. And you can see the number on the side, so you can see, okay, volume is at 600,000, closer to the end of trading, but way back here, you know, in most of the day, it's like all the way, like, what is that, 100K? Barely. Like, that's not even a lot. And this was on Christmas Eve, so it's 11:30, and market was closing at 1 p.m. So that's why volume was so low during that time. Normally, it's popping during that time because that's a time where people are making decisions. But that is all of my settings that I use for my trading. As far as these up here, I make sure that this is on 2px. And I recently changed it to a different color so that when I'm teaching and stuff like that and using them, I don't confuse myself, because these lines here, I keep here all week. Those are my key levels that I use. And so when I am teaching or I click the screen on accident and it adds a line, sometimes I can't tell which one is wrong. So I switch the color just so I can know, okay, that one is yellow. It shouldn't be yellow. Well, let me switch back to yellow. But yeah, that one's yellow, shouldn't be on the screen, and I can be able to delete it. I keep everything else pretty standard. Again, the brush is red just because I just like it like that. But I really should up the size. I kind of like the bigger size too. And yeah, basically I just switch between like a pinkish color and a red color. That's literally everything that I use for trading. I'm very simple. I don't use any indicators. I don't use anything besides trend lines, chart patterns, candlesticks. And I've made $5,000 in my first month trading. I'm 7 weeks in. And so this is definitely possible for you if you want to trade with just the basics and you want to trade fundamentals of supply, demand, support, resistance. That's fine. And yeah, so this is literally how I trade. So I will see you. And this is how my entire account is set up. If you have any questions about what I personally do, like here I have the 1 minute here, but that's not really like a setting. It's just on the 1 minute. And then you can also flip through all of, like, these are all of the stocks that I trade. But I normally only trade SPY. I check between SPY and mini ES. So that's why they're next to each other. But I normally just have it on ES, and that's really simple. I just posted a video about what I use for Webull. So this is everything I use for TradingView, and I just showed you everything I use to paper trade on Webull and futures. So you can go ahead and watch that video if that would also be helpful, and I'll see you guys in my